I just finished watching the release video for JHS's new pedal. It's the 424 gain stage preamp, and I'm pretty excited about this because I use 424 Portastudios a lot, and I have daydreamed that someone would put this sound into a pedal, much like JHS already did with the Neve sound and this color box. Their new release looks really cool and from the demo sounds great, but it isn't exactly what I imagined. Now, it may be exactly what you're looking for in a 424 pedal, but just in case, here are some factors you should consider if you're shopping for the Portastudio sound. The new pedal recreates the gain or preamp section of the Portastudio. But the preamp is only part of the sound of recording to a Portastudio. The most conspicuous absence is the cassette tape. Cassette as a medium can leave noticeable artifacts on recorded sound. The most obvious is tape hiss, unless you're using some kind of noise reduction. But in my experience, cassette also naturally rolls off some high end. And when you record hot signal to cassette tape, it compresses and distorts in a very specific way. Love it or hate it, I think it is a thing. The new 424 pedal is not going to provide that. That kind of "it's just the preamp" section applies also to JHS's Colour Box. It's an expensive pedal, but in my opinion, worth the price of admission, but that's in large part because it's not just a foot pedal. Like the new 424 pedal, this can receive the unbalanced quarter-inch input from something like a guitar or a bass, run it through a classic analog preamp section, and then spit out either another quarter-inch unbalanced signal or an XLR out. But the Colour Box packs in several more features, the most important of which to me is that it can also receive a balanced XLR signal, meaning that you can use this as a mic preamp or as a reamping box. Now, you could do the same thing with the new 424 pedal, but you would need an extra piece of gear, i.e. something to convert the classic XLR output of your average mic cable to the quarter-inch unbalanced input that the 424 pedal wants to see. These objects are not hard to find, and they are inexpensive. My preference would be to use a passive DI box in the style of Electrical Audio. Steve Albini's boys seem to use that to great effect without signal degradation. It's a cheap, easy option. But the point is really that you need something else in order to use this new 424 pedal with microphones, meaning that its potential uses are somewhat limited compared to this, or certainly compared to this. Of course, on the flip side, it would be super inconvenient to try to use this like a guitar pedal. And if that's your use case, I think JHS has you covered. And finally, unlike the Colour Box and Crayon, this new 424 pedal recreates a device that is still relatively accessible. Tascam made and sold a lot of 424s over the years. They are by no means rare. They are old, and the condition of a used 424 can be hit or miss, but they are definitely out there. And that sort of begs the question, if you want the sound of an old Portastudio, why wouldn't you just buy one? Well, for one thing, in 2025, Tascam Portastudios are expensive. Prices skyrocketed during the pandemic, and they've kind of stayed there. I looked today on Reverb, and it's clear that Mark I Portastudios routinely sell for $400 or more, even $500. Of course, another reason not to buy one of these is that you don't want one of these. You just want some of the sound, preferably in a small footprint. And obviously the JHS delivers that. And you can get it for a list price of $250. And that may have gotten you a 424, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, but it won't today. But the fact remains, the real thing is not out of reach. Not like a Neve, or when I think about other old gear that's emulated in pedals, things like a true plate reverb. You and I are not going to buy those things. But if you have the budget to buy the new JHS offering, you could save a few $100 extra and just buy the real thing. Or you could look for one of the smaller models, like something from the Porta series or a 414. Or you could branch out from Tascam as a brand and look at similar offerings from Fostex or Yamaha or Vestax at a significant discount versus Tascam prices. The point is, if you want that sound, you could just buy that thing. And whether you should depends on everything, right? I mean, your intended use case, your budget, the amount of physical space you have, your personal store of cassette tapes and tolerance for scratchy pots, blah, blah, blah. Okay, after all that, I feel like I need to level set with you. I love this release. I'm really excited. I think from the demo that the pedal sounds great. I've had really good experiences with JHS products, and if you buy this, I think you can expect that same standard of quality. And if you want the 424 preamp sound, that pedal is more of a sure thing than buying some 20 to 30-year-old device from a stranger online. But so if I feel that way, why am I making this video? No, it's not just to jump on the bandwagon of videos being released about this product. It's because I am genuinely really interested in Portastudio's and DAWless recording. I think my channel speaks to that. And I think there is something really special about working with a device like the 424 Portastudio. I think it has a sound, and it's a sound I really like, but that's just part of the equation because I know the kind of workflow that a cassette recorder encourages. The points of strain and stress, as well as the moments of inspiration and real fun. And when I think about music that I love that was recorded with something like a Portastudio, I immediately think of other factors that draw me in. I'm hearing garages and basements and bedrooms and homegrown recording techniques. I mean, sometimes I'm hearing amateurism, but other times it's experimentation or a kind of circumstantial desperation because you don't want to or can't afford to go back into a studio. And of course, there are the bursts of inspiration that could suddenly be captured because these Portastudios made home recording possible, accessible for the first time. So when you think about the sound of a 424 Portastudio, consider what you're hearing or remembering or imagining. It may be the sound that's in this new pedal, or it may be something else. So ponder it. And try stuff. And most importantly, do the thing that works for you and that makes you feel happy and fulfilled in making the music that you're trying to make. If you liked this, or if you remain interested in Portastudio recording, you can check out some of the other videos on my channel. If you want to know what a Portastudio recording sounds like in 2025, there are some examples on my Bandcamp. But more important than all of that, I hope you're doing well. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you around.